You're standing at the gate, boarding pass in hand, ready to jet off. The agent scans your ticket, looks up, and says, "Sorry, you can't board." Wait, what? This isn't a rare horror story anymore. In 2025, more travelers than ever are being denied boarding, and some of the reasons will absolutely blow your mind. Some are technical, some are avoidable, and a few feel downright unfair. Stick around, because reason number 13 is completely legal, totally outrageous, and it's catching even most experienced travelers off guard. Reason 1, you have outstanding warrants or travel bans. Yes, background checks don't just happen at customs. In some countries, they run checks before you even board. That unpaid ticket you forgot about, that expired visa you overstayed by 2 days last year, depending on the country, that's enough to get you flagged. A traveler flying out of Europe was stopped right at the gate due to an outstanding tax warrant issued months earlier. No warning, just denied. Before you travel, especially internationally, check for any legal or visa issues that might trigger a red flag. Even small infractions can cause major problems once you hit the airport. Reason 2, you're on a no-fly list by mistake. Imagine showing up early, bags in hand, only to get quietly pulled aside. The gate agent won't say much, just that you've been flagged. That's how one traveler found out her name had been mistakenly linked to someone else on a no-fly list. She missed her niece's graduation and spent weeks untangling the mess. It could be a shared name, a past incident that was misreported, or even a security system error. The scariest part? You often don't find out until it's too late. If you ever had trouble boarding or even just a weird experience at customs, call the airline a few days ahead. Better a long hold than a canceled trip. Reason 3, you tried to board with a non-compliant item. You cleared security, smooth sailing. But guess what? Some airlines recheck bags right at the gate, and if they find something off, you're not flying. This isn't just about weapons or oversized liquids. We're talking rogue lithium batteries, prohibited snacks, even unregistered emotional support pets. One traveler lost their seat over a spare e-bike battery they forgot was in their backpack. It was small but not allowed. Don't relax just because you pass security. Gate agents have the final say, and their checklist is just as strict. When in doubt, take it out. Reason 4, you were rude to airline staff. Think snapping at the gate agent is no big deal? Think again. In 2025, customer service now comes with consequences. One traveler tried to joke about how useless the boarding group system was. Result, not boarded. Even eye rolls, sighs, or pushing back on seat changes can be flagged as disruptive behavior. You might not mean anything by it, but gate agents are trained to spot potential problems early, and they're allowed to deny boarding if they feel you might escalate once airborne. Treat every airline employee like they're the person deciding your fate, because they are. Smile. Say thank you, even when things get frustrating. Your vacation depends on it. Reason 5, you booked with a glitch and didn't know it. You got the deal, you got the email, you're packed and ready. But at check-in, the agent can't find your reservation. This happens more than people realize, especially with third-party travel sites. Payment failures, booking system hiccups, or 2 one-way tickets that don't talk to each other. It creates what airlines call a ghost booking. One traveler booked through a budget site and even got confirmation email, but the airline never received payment. The whole reservation? Vapor. Always confirm your itinerary directly with the airline at least 48 hours before departure. Take screenshots, save the booking code, and double-check those e-tickets. If you're standing at the airport trying to prove you have a seat, you've already lost. If any of this is helping you dodge a travel disaster, do me a favor. Tap that like button. And if you're the kind of traveler who wants to fly smarter, safer, and never get left behind at the gate, hit subscribe. We got more insider tips coming every week. Reason 6. Your name doesn't match your ID. Here's a shocker. Your name could be the reason you miss your flight. We're not talking fraud or fake IDs, just nicknames, typos, or autocorrect fails. One guy booked his flight using his gaming handle by accident. His ID said Jacob. His ticket said Boss Hunter 93. He didn't even realize it until the gate agent looked up and said, "Really?" Even tiny differences, like Matt instead of Matthew, can trigger red flags at check-in. No match, no boarding. Double-check your booking name the second you purchase your ticket. It should match your passport letter for letter. And if there's a mistake, fix it early. Some airlines charge, but missing your flight costs a lot more. Reason 7. You didn't have the right ID or passport. Think your passport's fine because it doesn't expire until next month? Hate to break it to you, but that might not be enough. Some countries require at least 6 months of validity from your arrival date, not your return flight. Others want 2 blank visa pages or will reject a passport with even a tiny tear or water stain. And for domestic travelers, Real ID enforcement is rolling out in more airports. If your ID doesn't meet new standards, you're not going anywhere. One traveler had a passport but no empty visa pages left and got turned away on the spot. Check your destination-specific entry rules, not just your passport's expiration. A few minutes of research now can save a total meltdown later. Reason 8. You miss the airline's check-in deadline. Here's the trap. You arrive 2 hours early, you feel good, you're ahead of schedule, until you hit the check-in desk and they say you're too late. How? Because you waited in line too long, or assumed check-in would stay open right up until boarding. But in 2025, airlines are quietly tightening the window. Some cut off check-in 60 minutes before departure, some even less. And if you're flying internationally, forget it. That line moves slow. If you miss the cutoff, even by a minute, they can shut you out. Check in online the moment it opens, usually 24 hours in advance, and check your airline's exact deadline for bag drop and check-in. They're not all the same anymore. Reason 9, you smelled off. This one's awkward, but it's real. In 2025, smell is a boarding factor. We're not just talking about hygiene. One traveler was denied boarding after another passenger complained about her essential oil diffuser necklace. Another was told his smoky jacket could trigger allergies in a packed cabin. Strong cologne, gym sweat, food smells, even new perfume experiments can land you on the wrong side of the gate agent's nose. There's no official scent policy, which means it's totally subjective. On travel days, go with neutral, no overpowering scents, no smoky clothes, no garlic-heavy snacks on your shirt. If you're unsure, ask yourself, would I want to sit next to me for 10 hours straight? If not, freshen up. How many of those caught you by surprise already? Let's ramp it up, because the next few are where things get seriously unpredictable. Reason 10, gate closed early. You arrive 45 minutes before departure, cruise through security, grab a snack, and when you finally stroll to your gate, it's empty. Welcome to 2025, where on time doesn't mean what it used to. Airlines are quietly adjusting boarding procedures, closing gates sooner, and they don't always announce it clearly. One traveler missed her flight because she was 2 gates down waiting for a charging port. She swore she had time, but the agent had already locked the doors. Here's the harsh truth. Once the gate closes, you're out, even if the plane hasn't moved an inch. Aim to be physically present at the gate at least 40 minutes before takeoff. Not near it, not walking toward it at it. Eyes up, boarding pass ready. Reason 11. Your carry-on is too big, and you refuse to check it. You think you've mastered the art of travel packing. Carry-on only, right? But here's the thing. In 2025, airlines are enforcing carry-on rules like never before. I'm talking tape measure at the gate energy. And if your bag doesn't slide perfectly into the sizer, they won't just ask you to check it. They'll tell you to check it or walk away from your flight. Recently, a frequent flyer with expensive camera gear tried to explain why he couldn't check his bag. Guess what? He didn't board. Airlines aren't negotiating at the gate anymore. They're enforcing. Always confirm your airline's current carry-on size. Don't assume it's the same as last time. And stash a lightweight duffel in your bag. If you need to split your stuff fast, you'll be ready. Reason 12. You got bumped from an overbooked flight. You booked, you paid, you showed up. So why are you being bumped? Because airlines still sell more seats than they have. Why? Math. They're betting some passengers won't show up. When everyone does, someone gets kicked. And here's the truth. It's not random. If you booked basic economy, checked in late, or aren't part of the airline's loyalty program, you're more likely to be chosen. One traveler who checked in just 40 minutes before takeoff? Seat gone, no warning. Check in as early as possible, even if you're already at the airport. Avoid the rock bottom ticket when you can, and join the loyalty program. Even if you only fly once a year, it matters. Reason 13. You violated travel rules on a previous trip. You might think that what happens on one flight stays on that flight. Not anymore. Airlines now share records of passenger behavior, especially if there are safety or security concerns. One traveler who refused to stow their bag when told and made a scene about it was flagged. On their next trip, they were told they couldn't board, not because of what they did today, but because of what they did last time. If you've ever had an incident in the air, no matter how minor it seemed, assume it's on your record. Flying is a privilege, and airlines talk to each other more than you think. Reason 14. You refuse facial recognition at the gate. Look up at the boarding gate this year, and chances are cameras looking back at you. More airports in 2025 are using facial recognition instead of scanning boarding passes. It's fast, secure, and controversial. Privacy-conscious travelers are pushing back, but here's the kicker. On some international routes, you can't opt out. One couple refused a scan before a flight to Asia and were quietly removed from the boarding list. Even where opting out is allowed, manual ID checks take longer, and if there's a line, you might miss your boarding window. Research your destination's boarding procedures. If you're uncomfortable with facial scans, know your rights before you fly, not when you're standing under camera. So, traveling in 2025 should be easier, right? But instead, it feels like the rules are shifting faster than the departure board. And every year, more people are getting denied boarding, often without ever knowing why. The good news? You're now 14 steps ahead of the crowd. Bags too bulky, names that don't match, batteries too spicy, faces too private, final calls that aren't final. And that's just scratching the surface. Want to make sure you never get denied boarding again? I put together a free one-page pre-flight boarding checklist. Grab it from the link in the description. Print it, pack it, thank yourself later. And hey, have you ever been denied boarding or had a close call? Drop your story in the comments. I'm collecting the best ones for a future video. If this helped you fly smarter, tap that like button and subscribe for more weekly travel hacks that save your trip, your wallet, and your sanity. And don't miss this next video. 10 genius travel gadgets every senior must have in 2025. Until next time, travel smart.